Hello, today we're making gingerbread house because everybody else is making gingerbread houses and their grandmas also probably have made two so far, I think. I don't know. I have never made one, so I decided to make one today because it's Christmas and Christmas stuff, and people make gingerbread houses at Christmas. That's what I heard. What you're going to need is a pair of hands, I guess, a cup of flour, and one hot chocolate, cocoa, whatever the heck. I have coffee, but still works, and we're gonna do it now. We need to have a concept art. Now, the concept art, I went and did it by myself, and when I look at it, it looks like a normal house. It's a house with smoke coming out of the chimney and some candy canes on top. It's a gingerbread house, okay? But when I look at the concept, it's not like, meh. It's a normal drawing. Now, if you don't have a digital, if you don't have a graphic tablet and you can't draw digitally, that's completely fine. Just grab pen and paper, pretty much the same thing. And if you want to steal some crayons from your kids or nephews or whatever, you can do that as well. I discovered recently this little program called Ref, where you can basically import any image in there and you can open a little window on your screen and you can constantly watch your image. In our case, this will be our gingerbread house, and based on that, it's a gingerbread house. Okay, based on that, we try to follow the design. I will not follow the design carefully because I will try to improve the house inside Blender, because I don't think that's good looking gingerbread. It doesn't look like a gingerbread house to me, so we'll try to fix that. I'm gonna start off with the cube. A lot of people like to delete the cube. I don't want to delete the cube. Now, we're making a house, technically speaking, so if you're new to Blender, you need to remember that once you add a new mesh, you shouldn't move that mesh right away in the object mode. Go to edit mode and then make all the adjustments you need. Because now I did make the basis of the rooftop, right? But I realized I didn't make the actual base for the house, and I decided to take one of the walls of the rooftop, duplicate that into edit mode, and then remove the mirror modifier, and then use that as a base, and that can rotate that. If you have any additional questions, just remember all the shortcuts and music are on your left corner down there. Good luck with that. But then again, if you are new to Blender but you know how to move around Blender and you know how to navigate yourself around, I think you'll be fine. Okay, so after we are done with our basic shape, I decided to jump in and do the chimney. Now, again, I add a chimney if you want to gingerbread house. I'm not sure if the gingerbread house has a chimney, but I will add one to mine, and that's how it is. I'm gonna use the cube for that, obviously, because it's the closest thing to the chimney there, right? Straightforward modeling, and you just get a cube, a simple cube, and you start deforming that cube by, as you can see on your left corner, I use shortcuts for that to move around, to extrude some parts of the cube and to get the chimney thing. Now, I did try to add bevel to all the edges of the cube again to keep up with this theme of the whole house, right? Definitely my chimney does not look like the chimney from the concept, and I thought I would go in again and change that, but I just left it the way it is. And the only thing that I added to the chimney eventually was the icing, the powder sugar. Yes, as we said, it's powder sugar, okay. But overall, I really like how so far we are getting there. It does look like a very simple house that has a chimney. It still doesn't look like a gingerbread house, but we're gonna get there, okay? so far we're not doing anything more. So we're just making a simple house. There's a couple of ways you can add the walls to the house, the front side and the back side. I decided to add a simple plane, and then I removed all of the points, and it became a triangle that I basically placed roughly on the rooftop and the base of the house. And if you notice, I'm not using like perfect measurements. I'm not trying to be with this perfect in symmetry or in numbers, and I think that's also adds to the idea, because it's a gingerbread house. It doesn't have a perfect surface, or it's not perfectly balanced, I think. I don't know. I have never made gingerbread houses in real life, so I have no idea. So that's why I decided to add a chimney to my house, which I don't know if they have, but mine do, and you feel free to add to yours, I guess. Because, you know, at the end of the day, the gingerbread houses are made to be eaten, and if your house doesn't say "eat me," then I guess we both fail in this. Yeah, so that's the idea. By the end of this, I hope my gingerbread house to look delicious enough to be eaten. And if I add a chimney, that means I mean business, okay? So eventually, I'm not trying to keep on with my concept. I'm trying to break away from it in order to make something that's more friendly and more, you know, likable, I guess. And I don't know if I'm going there, but we'll see. We'll be judging this gingerbread house by the end. I think so far, going with the bubbly look to this, it's I think we're in the right way, in the right direction, I think. So I started adding the snowy parts, even though technically we all know the white parts in any gingerbread house are sugar. Yeah, sugar. You know, sugar. That's what it is. I decided to do that by again using modeling rather than sculpting. We're gonna use a little bit of sculpting on the door eventually, maybe on the smoke area, but the snow, the especially the part where we see the snow on top of the house, or on top of the chimney, or on top of the door, is basically done with modeling. I grabbed a simple cube, as always, and I just added a subsurface modifier. I didn't apply that subsurface modifier, but what I did is, while I still had the cube in edit mode there, yeah, I decided to add a couple of loop cuts. That way I will have more points to push and pull in order to create this this kind of falling, dripping effect. And I think it worked out well, especially when we do this on top of the door area. And it's kind of looking good to me. I really like that part of this. And pretty much we repeat that for the whole other side. So every other area where we have the snow, aka the powder sugar, it's pretty much the same thing. We have a cube on which we add a couple of loop cuts, and we add the subsurface modifier, and we're just pulling up points, and that's all we're doing. It's not sculpting, it's just simple modifying, modeling the points. So we're just pulling out the points, and we get this cool effect that's happening. I really like that part of this. Hope you get it. I feel like once we do that, once we add the colors, we're gonna actually look like a gingerbread house. Cause so far, I don't think it looks like a gingerbread house. I don't know. Now, when it comes to the sugar canes or candy canes, I don't know. I mean, that's how they call it, right? It's the sugar canes, the candy canes, these stuff, the candy. Sugar candy, the cane. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of those. But I think the most challenging part for me was that candy cane thing. I didn't know how to make the perfect cane, I guess. I don't know. I think I didn't do well with the candy canes on top, and they look weird. I don't know. I decided to go back again and try again to do them properly this time. Now I realized that obviously with the mesh didn't work, so this time I decided to use a curve. Now curve tool, if you will, in Blender, it's not that hard to use. So I went into edit mode and I decided to scale this on the x-axis, and then we go to the icon of the curve, and basically we're gonna add some thickness to our curve in order for us to be able to move, to actually manipulate the curve. So how are you gonna do that? Well, you go to geometry. So once you add the depth there, you can also fill the caps, and you can increase the resolution, and you will get something like this. It will be a fine looking pipe, I guess. Now we can just simply add points by pressing E. We're gonna extrude the points, and you can easily, this time you can easily manipulate the direction of the points. And yeah, so far it looks like a pipe, but once we move the points in the right direction, it will start looking like a like a cane. So far it looks like a pipe, but once I added the point, I can move around the points to get the better shape I want. How you move around the points is basically press G, select the point and press G. Everything that you see here is happening in edit mode, and that's how you can edit your cane. Yeah, it does look like a cane, and we got our cane. Now obviously this one is a bit thick to be on top of the house. It's a bit big, so I'm just gonna go back, I guess, and select everything with A and then S, and then I'm just gonna decrease the depth of our cane and maybe a little bit more, and it's great. Now we can put that on top of the roof as before. Again, right now here I'm just looking at my concept, and I'm trying to ensure roughly the position of the cane by rotating, and then again everything's happening in edit mode, and yeah, it's simple as that. I don't know why there. I mean, I wanted to add lights, and the lights they took me a while. Now I know there's geometry nodes inside Blender, everyone's like praising them and all that, and I didn't use them. I decided to put each individual light. First, obviously, I modeled the lights individually. I didn't have a specific design in mind. I just grabbed a cube and stopped adding loop cuts and pulling points, and I got this. And it looks alright, it looks like a light, right? Once I got one of the lights, I went into edit mode, as I were before, and then I start adding, basically duplicating each of these lights, and I end up with kind of, I think, 10 lights in general, and then I was stupid enough to grab individually each of the lights and trying to put them on my amazing cable thing that I also made with the curve a line that I have in Blender, which is really cool and really fun, because now I know how to use that. But I shouldn't have probably wasted my time putting every little light on top of that cable thing. And that I shouldn't have done. Yeah, that's a bad idea. Don't do that. But I didn't know how to do it, I didn't want to waste time to do it in the notes. So I decided to do it manually, but I guess it's a choice, I guess. I don't know. I will learn how to do that eventually, I think. The door and the smoke, right? The door is one of the only elements that I try to do to add a little bit of sculpting. You can do that even if you don't have a tablet, because it's literally we are just taking the door element and trying to add to that door element, trying to add a couple of scratches. The way we can do that, first we need to make a door, and I'm making a new mesh, if you will, from all the edges of the door itself, so we can get the same shape. So we're connecting all of the edges of the door and pressing F to insert the face, and on that face we also press I to also insert the face. And then we press P, so in order to grab this whole selection and make it as a separate object, as a separate mesh. And that mesh, we go and scope that in scope mode by adding a bit more points to the door in order for us to be able to scope that. Basically, that's the only complicated part in this whole thing, I think. But again, if you're completely new and this is your first Blender tutorial, oh god, don't watch this. Or maybe watch this and try to make something, or either follow that or try to make something yourself, I guess. But that's the way you kind of learn a lot of stuff, I guess. I don't know. But the door part for me was the sculpting part. And the other sculpting I'm going to see is the smoke. The smoke that's coming out of the chimney. And then I didn't do it properly. The idea was to take one sphere, go into edit mode, duplicate that sphere twice, so we have three spheres, and we go back into sculpting mode, and with the help of the move brush or the grab brush or even the elastic brush, we can do I don't know what that is, but you can still do that with your mouse if you play around with the size of the brush and then the strength of the brush if you're using your mouse. So it's still doable to do it even if you don't have a tablet. It's done. The freaking house is done. Yes. Everything's done. I'm just gonna show you the house now. I'm so happy because this is done. This whole project is done. It took me like 2 weeks, more than 2 weeks. I'm still going insane over this. I'm gonna show you the house, but before I do, this is the house, right? I will leave you a link in the description for the candy canes, the way they were colored, right? Because I think they're the most complicated material that you see here. Everything else is pretty straightforward. I'm assuming you already saw on the speed timeline time lapse thing. But yeah, I'm not doing anything fancy here. I'm just assigning materials to the different parts of their house. And I'm just playing, here's the material tab, and I'm just playing here with the sliders. Mainly I was playing with the roughness slider, rather than that, for the lines, it's the emission over here, and how much emission should I put, and that's that. And everything else is just staging your gingerbread house. This is my stage for my gingerbread house. Maybe I made it too big, I don't know. But I really like how this turned out. I like the extra details I put on top. I think they kind of add to everything. And oh my god, it's finito. I'm gonna leave you with some cool shots of the house, and hopefully there will be more videos like this one. I'm gonna see you in the next one. Until then, stay safe, be happy, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. And goodbye for now. Bye.